Live. All right, welcome back, Alkaline Tribe. And last week, when I went live at this time, I ended up going for 4.5 hours until 1 in the morning. I don't think that's going to happen this time, but I'm not ruling it out. We'll see. So, if you're just tuning in, I want to first give a trigger warning because I might say some things in this video that upset you or trigger you. And here's the warning at the beginning. So if you're easily offended, then you can bail out. As long as that's not the case, welcome. And I'm going to talk about show me your friends and I'll show you your future. There's a lot of different quotes, a lot of different people said things like this. Dan Pena says, show me the 5 people you spend the most time with and he'll show you your future. I know a lot of different authors have quoted similar things. So I'm going to talk in this video about the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm going to tell some personal stories from my past experience. And also I'm going to go through some personal experiences and how that you can shift it over. So if you're if you're having a bad life or a bad situation or whatever it is the case that could be better, you can turn it around. Not that I'm not just going to say that it's easy. It's not always easy, but thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some painful personal experiences that I've had where I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I'm going to talk about, oh man, several situations in my life to relate this story and make it real, because no one wants to admit that they are hanging out with bad people. No one wants to admit that their friends are morons or losers. No one wants to admit that their family are not supportive. Or, these are sensitive topics. That's why this isn't going to make everyone happy, but it's going to be the truth. So this isn't just fluff online to make you personal development, woo! No, this is real stuff that is really useful, and I had to learn painfully the hard way several times before it sunk in. So that's why I think it deserves a video. Also, I have several one-on-one clients that I'm coaching, and I notice a trend. A lot of people are reaching out to me because the main thing that is in common with everyone is there's no one around them, and this might be the same for you. Maybe there's no one around you that's actually encouraging and supportive. Of course your family is going to say they're supportive. Of course, if you ask your friends, if I ask them, they would say they want you to do well. They want you to succeed. If you asked your family, they would say they want you to succeed, of course. But then, then there's real life, and then there's what people actually do. So, of course, everyone says that they're a good person, and no one wants to admit to being a loser or anything. So that's the offensive part about it. And so the 5 people you spend your time with in the beginning of your life are mostly family or close friends. And my background is in psychology. I've studied for over 15 years, and it's fascinating to me. Definitely, I've heard business people say this, that you show me the people you spend your time with and they can predict your future. And I I was at the bad side of this for a long time, and it took me a while to finally believe the title of the video and then try shifting it over. So now, looking back on it, it looks like I have shifted it over because now the situation is totally different. So at the end, I'm going to talk about what will happen once you change the people you spend the most time with, and what it's like after, what it's like to be on the successful side rather than the I wish side, which is what it's all about, which is why most people are on YouTube or searching online to either make more money or get healthier or something that they feel is lacking. So this can apply to health, this can apply to money, and it can apply to everything in your life. But those are the two big things, health and wealth, that I talk about the most. So those are the two biggest things that make an impact. So the 5 people you spend the most time with, your subconscious mind is soaking in everything like a tape recorder. It's recording all of your senses since you were, arguably, since you were conceived, or at some point, even before you were born. You're hearing, seeing to some extent, thinking to some degree, even before you were born, and this is all being recorded by your subconscious mind. Your brain is, they like, science likes to say, likes to boast how much they've figured out, but really the brain is extremely complex and fascinating. So there's so much that it can do that we don't know about yet. It's very powerful and very complicated. I studied, like I said, psychology, and neuropsychology, brain chemistry, and that kind of thing is really interesting. So I learned this in university, and I knew there was something wrong with my situation, which is one of the reasons why I was studying psychology, was to help myself. Yes, I did want to help other people, but also I wanted to be able to control my own psyche. Who doesn't, Now looking back, I think I've definitely gained a lot, and I can do what I was hoping for, so I'm thankful for that. But I didn't learn it all in university, that's for sure. I learned a lot of it on the streets, I guess, doing business. So here's some rude awakenings that I was getting that were red flags to how do you know the people you're hanging out with are bad or not. Because I'm not saying they're not likable. They might be very lovable. The reason you like them, I'm not gonna get into that. That's personal. I'm not saying to dislike anyone. And, a lot of people don't understand this. And I know from years and years of doing business, and one of the old businesses I was in, this was especially true and especially important. So I had to teach people then that the people that you spend the time with are the people that you spend the time with are going to determine your success. And a lot of the people didn't believe that or didn't understand it, and they didn't succeed. So a lot of people are stuck in a position that they don't like, and they don't understand how to do this. So I had a rude awakening when I was about 18, when my old best friend, who had been my bass player, passed away, and he was only like 19 or 20, and I had already been separated from him because he was in a downward spiral, and I felt at the time, I mean, I was like 18 years old. I mean, I hadn't studied psychology for 15 years then. I didn't know how to help, and it's hard to help someone close to you, even if you are an expert. It's not, just because you are an expert doesn't mean your friends and family are going to listen to you or anything. So I had a rude awakening then when he was heavily into drugs, and I was not into that kind of synthetic garbage kind of stuff, thankfully. And I was not with him when that happened, but it definitely shook everyone up in the neighborhood, and it probably traumatized me, but it influenced me definitely, and maybe one of the reasons why I'm so focused on my health, because I lost another really close person. I don't usually say it like that. I'm live, so you get whatever I say. But it's a sensitive topic, so I'm just blurting things out. When I was about 16 or 17, someone also that I was close to died. And those, I think, they were a good person, and it wasn't drug related. It was just a random, thing. But anyway, I guess that doesn't tie into it then. Let's focus on the one. But I was in a band, and the person that died was my bass player for a long time. Finally, when he pawned off not only his bass and his amp, but he had borrowed my other friend's bass, and he pawned that. And finally, that was like the last straw. And it was just, when someone goes off the deep end on crappy drugs, they become unbearable it's like they're a different person. But that's not what this video is about. However, it's definitely related. I started distancing myself because I could tell it was going to happen, and I had felt like it was just out of control. I was always bailing him out of fights, bailing us out of getting kicked out of shows, stuff like that, and it was negatively affecting me, absolutely. Crazy stuff happened. He would break people's stuff. He would get wasted and pee on people's things, blacked out. And like, he was in my band and my best friend. And it must have been negative to be palling around with people like this. So, geez, I've come a long way since then. Well, I usually don't talk about this, and I usually don't think about this. It's been a long time. Another red flag was my other band member, my drummer, ended up going to jail for having weapons. I'm not even going to say everything. But anyway, that was years ago. And so there was 3 people in the band. One of them is no longer alive. The other one was in prison. And what happened to me? That's the fascinating thing. How did I survive? Well, I went to Japan, for one, and I went to university, for 2. I changed who I was hanging out with. I wasn't doing it on purpose like this at the time. I wasn't doing business yet, but I started spending my time with the international students at my university because I was studying Japanese language. And so it was a totally new group for me, from a totally new type of people, and they were accepting. Um, Japanese people respect me for things that American people don't. It's a just different, different culture. So I felt like a little bit more in my element. Um, I ended up studying abroad in Japan, and totally out of my element. No one I knew. Well, I did know, I knew, I had met some Japanese people in the US, but no Americans there that I knew. That was a great experience for me. Um, I succeeded for the first time. Well, I was a good student, and I was always getting straight A's, so I was successful in that way. So even my crazy friends and everything, I still managed to get straight A's, but that doesn't mean anything. Straight A's don't mean that your life is going well. Straight A's don't mean your mental health or physical health are good. It just means that you know the answers. And if you are a subscriber, you already know that I'm a know-it-all, and I was always like that. Well, I'm less rude about it now, probably. But when I got back from Japan, I had my taste of success. Like, wow, that's, I had 3 different jobs and totally new group of people. I lived in the big city. I'm from the middle of nowhere countryside. So this is where I was able to have a quantum leap, getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of my negative environment. Now, what was in here was still, infecting me I've been working on it for over a decade. And so, yeah, working on yourself is good too, but I had to learn this lesson again, more. When I started my first business, I talked about this the other day in one of my business videos. I hired a group of my friends from high school, elementary school. I mean, it was a small town, not even a town, really. But they did poorly. They quit the whole entire crew of 6 people quit that knew me. That was in my other video of most common mistakes or worst mistakes new business owners make or small businesses make, is what I was saying was hiring friends and family. That's related to this topic of who are you hanging out with? Who are you spending time with? Are you even hanging out in the first place? What is hanging out? And as Dan Pena says, he doesn't know what hanging out is. Chillin' is what he said. Chillin'. Yeah, he doesn't know what chillin' means. So successful people don't chill and hang out, really. That doesn't mean that it's a bad life. It's just another side, another way. And when I started my first business, when I started my next business, I vowed never to do business again after that first one. But, I did. I got back in. I recruited my friends and some of my family. How did that go, I wonder? Oh, geez. Poorly. If you're the smartest person in the room, this is another quote that I've heard in, seminars or books or something. If you're the smartest person in the room, go to a different room. You need to challenge yourself, and these are not just cliche, like, oh, the people you hang out with. It's not cliche. This is real result-driven talk. And the real results are what matters. If you know me from my other videos, the results are what I care about. It's not about the talk. It's about what you're going to get. And it's very practical and pragmatic. So when I started my next business, I recruited friends and family. I didn't learn. How did they do? Did they do poorly, or did they supersede my efforts? They did 1/100th probably of what, and I'm of what. See, that's what happens. What I was saying in my other video, when you know people that you're doing business with, they just want a handout. They just go, oh, Doug's got a new thing going. He'll let me on or something, or, and it's just, that's not the right way if you're going to be successful. If it's just for fun, or if you know that your friend or family member is a high performance, work on top of it, trustworthy, work ethic, if you know them for that, if they're known for that, then that's another story. But that's rare, so that's not the case most of the time. Then I had to learn this again, brutally, when another business I owned, where I talk about this sometimes. It was a restaurant and bar. And I was basically hanging around drunk people sometimes until 5 or 6 a.m. the next morning. And I've been sexually molested, attacked, yelled at, harassed, cheated, lied to, screwed over, that's where most of this advice comes from. And I usually don't talk about that part of it because that's the negative side of it. I just talk about the solution. But I think that for this video specifically, I didn't understand. My dad always used to tell me the people you hang out with, blah, blah, blah. And it went one in one ear and out the other. And I would challenge him, actually. Who's the people he hangs? Actually, no. He has some good wealthy connections good friends that he. But anyway, I shouldn't heckle my own father. But I learned all this the hard way. So here's when it started turning around. I finally learned my lesson. This was in 2015. This is 6 years ago now. I finally learned the lesson and okay, the people I'm around, geez, I can't be around these people. Because, for example, drunk people, if they black out and swear in your face and then don't remember doing it, to them, it's just, I was blacked out. Whatevs. I was just blacked out or whatever. And to me, that's not an excuse. So what did I do? I had to get out of there. I had to get out of that business. And it was not fun or easy to get out of. And I had to leave that island. I had to move again. And I had to get out of that terrible funk of the environment that, I was part of it. And that is difficult. And it's easy for me in a video to relay 6 years later, but it was so difficult. And I had started my channel at that point. Once I figured out this is over, and then I started my channel because I had been studying personal development and psychology for over 10 years, and I was ready to, I had been wanting to have a channel forever, and finally I just did it. So then I met someone. Prayer also does work if you know how to pray scientifically, which that might seem weird to some people, but I've explained in other videos. Check out my channel if you haven't, if you're new tuning in. I got an amazing client when I started coaching and consulting. I was still overseas at that point. And I got a really good client. We hit it off. He owned an English school. He was also a black belt, and so am I. Both Taekwondo. So we had that in common. We both studied psychology. It was awesome. So we connected, and I was coaching him with his, because he owned an English school, and he wanted English coaching in spoken English so that he could stay sharp. And I met with him 3 times a week for 3 years. And I would read Think and Grow Rich all the way there. At one point, I got rid of my car because the driving was insane. So at the point when I was riding the bus, I would read it all the way there and all the way back. And while I was reading it, I was focusing on the coaching, the meeting I was about to have with him. And it would be fire. Like the chemistry, we would meet, and it was, sometimes when we're live and it's just awesome and everyone's so grateful and everyone's learning, and it's just, everyone feels it, and there's great questions. There's just some kind of vibe going. You can just feel it. There's no question. And you're leveling up. I practice Reiki, by the way, if you know about actually leveling up. But I would give it my all. And he was paying me and cash, and he would be like, oh, I wish I could give you more, because I would over-deliver. And it was a good relationship. This is the point of what I'm saying. It was maybe a bromance, if that's what people call. I haven't really had many of those great people. Are few and far between. So when you get to connect with one, it's impactful for everyone. And he was grateful, and I was grateful. It was a good exchange. And by the way, since I didn't hear from him for a long time, this was years and years ago, I heard from him like a year ago, and he said he's super wealthy. Everything I predicted came true. And he said he's basically ballin' now. And I was so happy. And he said it was thanks to my support. And that was just meant so much to hear that. And that was an example of spending time with the good people, because not only did his business rocket, but so did mine. I started an e-com store back 5 years ago, or it must have been 6 years ago, if that was 6 years ago. Then I started an e-com store back then, when the bar and restaurant was a nightmare because of the drunk people. Like it was insane. And like you had to peel people off the floor, and people would, I don't need to tell any more stories because they're gross. But it was a riot. Actually, it was pretty funny. In hindsight, it was funny. But in the middle of it, it was unhealthy, and that's putting it lightly. It So I survived it, thank God. That's when I had adrenal burnout, if you know my story, and started trying desperately. That's when I was trying every imaginable diet and all the stuff that didn't work. I was trying at that time, but at least I finally got on the right track. So here's the next time I leveled up from the other people. I had to move eventually, and unfortunately, I left that island and I had to leave that great client. But everything else on there was toxic. But he was a gem, a diamond in that place. So then I finally got back to the U.S. There was a stint where I was in limbo in between, and it was crazy. But actually, in that limbo period, I met someone. Yeah, actually, before I moved back, I met a great person here. And they ended up giving me the alkaline herbs. And if you know the name of my channel, it says the Alkaline Life Coach. So I was influenced by them. And even though they weren't totally as into it as me, they totally facilitated and rocketed my progress. Because I was like, a lot of people are like dabbling in Dr. Sebi's stuff and don't know what exactly is going on and are trying to do it and switching things over and stuff like that in the beginning phases. But once I got a hold of those herbs and different plants, my health started rocketing. And if you don't know my story, it took me only about 3 weeks to reverse about a decade of chronic disease, which sounds like a miracle. Sounds like a miracle. It is a miracle, but I understand it scientifically, so it's not a miracle, it's science. But you can still say it's a miracle. I mean, there are people that use that word differently. Now, so let's shift over to how things are going now, because I got up to about 4 years ago in the story. Now this channel has the most positive, supportive people ever, and let me move this thing here so I can see. Someone said, "You a vegan?" I think that was a few minutes ago. The people in this channel are so supportive, intelligent, have a good sense of humor. I mean, there are such good quality people tuning in to the channel these days, and I'm so thankful for that. Especially, and now maybe you can finally understand why I'm so thankful for that. Because I was surrounded by a lot of insanity and negativity. One time in the bar, for example, someone screamed in my face, "You're never gonna be wealthy! You have to know someone!" And I mean, they were shouting like at the top of their lungs, veins popping out like a biker guy, screaming in my face, and that kind of stuff. So he's wrong. No, actually, he's right. He said, you have to know someone. And I do know people. I know you. I know all of my clients that I found through this channel. I know, you know what I mean? So you don't have to know them right now. But it is about who you know. But that doesn't mean you have to be born into a rich family or that you have to, be born into it. No, you can meet the people now. You can meet the people tomorrow. So if it was a mess before, there is still hope for you. I'm evidence. I'm from a really rough area. And I live in a really great area. I think right now I live in the best area in my whole state. No joke. And it wasn't always like that. So I can appreciate it now. Would I have appreciated it before? I'm not sure. So sometimes you have to be through the mud to really appreciate the, what is that? There's some saying that's, I'm drawing a blank at the moment, a saying about that. But don't learn the hard way. Learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes and save yourself the time, money, heartbreak. This could go for dating too. I could do a whole video about that. Romantic relationships, or the people that you surround yourself with include your significant other. If they won't become successful, if they hate business or whatever, and you're trying to start something, you're going to have a really hard time. It's the same thing with health. If you're going vegan and they're making fun of you and waving ribs around or something, then they don't get it. And now I'm not telling you what to do and how to leave the situation, and that's too complicated for over a screen. And everyone's situation is a little bit different. Some people can quicker than others. Some people will just move and change their phone number. Some people are okay doing that. Sometimes it's you and not the people that you're around. But I think if you're for people that are on my channel trying to improve their situation, I think that you're probably a good person. Most people wouldn't be able to watch my video for that long. I repel those type of people. They can't handle it. So, and that's part of my brand too. Keep them away. I can't save everyone right now, at least. Maybe, I'm not Jesus. Maybe he could have rescued even the worst of the worst, but I'm not at that level yet. And I'm not, perfect, so that's fine. I'm not going to be hard on myself about that. So what's your situation, and do you need to level up? Do you need to level up the people that you're around? Again, I know it's brutal to think individually. I'm not saying that these people are bad people. Everyone's equal as far as I'm concerned. Humans and animals too, actually, are equal as far as I'm concerned. But for the purposes of what I'm talking about, when you're trying to achieve something, when you have a mission and you're going after it, and you can't be lackadaisical, it's not just going to accidentally happen. You're not going to accidentally be successful. I'm going to burst your bubble. It's not easy, and most people can't do it. They can. It's possible for everyone. It's possible for everyone, but really, most people would rather lay on the couch and watch TV. And yeah, I really oversimplified it, but that's pretty much how it works. So if you're watching this video and not TV, that's a good start. So, most people would never, like I said, be able to make it this far into one of my videos. So that shows a lot as far as your willingness to learn and improve yourself. That being said, I'm equal to you and I'm not better than you in any way. So you can out succeed me if you take these things and run with them. The, the quality of people and the people, it's not just about money if it's business or just about health. It's about the mission. If you're trying to get people, if you're trying to lead people into something, if you're trying to achieve a goal, get a result, then they're going to have to buy into the vision. They're going to have to, you might not necessarily like them even, actually. It's funny because this goes against how most people would rather be unsuccessful but be liked by everyone. Because when you try to succeed, even before you succeed, even just when you attempt to, you're sticking your neck out and someone's going to come along and try to club you because they're just jealous. Sometimes there's no good reason for it. They're just jerks. Sometimes there's really no reason. People just are out to get you. And that's not the case all the time, but you'll come across those people in life, and you can't just hide in the turtle shell and avoid it your whole life. You have to sometimes, but in my experience, the bigger the bark, the louder the bark, the weaker the bite. People can talk a good talk, especially, I'm a martial artist and I have been for almost my entire life. It's been over 20 some years. And I overhear people like talking about, how men are sometimes. I've had friends or just people over here through the years talking about how, oh yeah, that person was lucky that I wasn't, that person was lucky I didn't knock him out or blah, 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 or something like that. And here I, as an actual black belt, I'm thinking, yeah, no. So the louder the bark, usually the weaker the bite. So all you have to do when you do meet these confrontations is take one step forward towards them and go, oh yeah? And they'll probably get scared that it didn't work on you because bullies are just used to getting their way for no reason, just for maybe they're physically big or they're, different. Every bully has their own deal, but they're all scared wimps if you go back, if you advance, and if you match the aggressiveness with aggressive, it'll work. That's what I learned in martial arts. There's a little tidbit for you. Now I'll do a short Q&A if anyone has any questions. I touched on most of the things I wanted to talk about. So when you do turn this around, everything changes. Everything changes. For example, and I've mentioned this just in passing in my videos before, especially when people are complimenting me. I mentioned that at the very beginning of the channel, I got more dislikes than likes. And there were people, and I think they were people I knew, that were just disliking every video in a row and then logging into their other account and doing it on that account and just systematically disliking them, which goes to show what type of people that I was hanging out with. To them, talking about setting goals or success, what? I couldn't believe that when I started the channel, how much hate I got. All I was talking about was setting goals. And what's so bad about that? It's crazy. I've achieved a lot of big goals in my life, even when I was younger. And it's something that's fun and easy for me to talk about. I couldn't understand that at the beginning of the channel, that people were just gonna hate on me just because they're a loser and maybe they have been wanting to start their own channel and they didn't, so they're mad because I'm actually go for it. And I get that a lot because I tend to go for it 10 times more than most people. But it there's a high failure rate when you take a lot of action, and that's part of succeeding that most people don't talk about. But, on my channel I tell the truth, and it's not all happy, ooh, positive thinking is not what people make it out to be. Positive means I'm positive. I'm positive about something. It's not about being happy. That fake happiness doesn't get you success. And because that's the misunderstanding I had about personal development when I did personal development for about 10 years before I said, this is BS, and I quit. And I had an old video called Personal Development is BS, I Quit, because I realized, I do internet marketing, and once you've seen behind the curtain, in The Wizard of Oz, they thought there was some big, powerful, all-powerful being controlling Oz, and then the dog or something pulled back the curtain, and there was just some winky old guy back there with a little machine. That is so true. That is so true, what life is like. And when you pull back the curtain, enlightenment, pulling back the veil, unveiling the truth. That's what my channel is all about. So let me know what you think in the comments. You've been hearing what I think. Now I'm curious what you think. Can I touch more on one specific thing, or am I beating a dead horse? Give me some feedback since we're live. I'd appreciate. I do appreciate all the people that gave a thumbs up. You rock. YouTube will not show my video until several people like it. So even dislikes might work, but I see someone disliked it, but whatever. Any action, engagement is good for the channel. So it helps, and it's free and all that. So you can use this for health, you can use this for wealth. As far as health goes, I announced that I'm gonna have a retreat in real life, not on YouTube, not on a screen. I'll actually be there in real life, which, thank you for the thumbs up. I saw you, I appreciate that. In real life, there are more things that I want to touch on that I want to do. We're going to do a week-long retreat, and I'm still shopping for the venue, but I found some pretty cool places. We're doing it next February. I announced it in February, and that gives us an entire year to get I'm not just going to accept everyone, since we're going to be spending a whole week together. I'm only really going to have people there that have done my program. But there are several people that are going through the program, so I think that would be good, so that everyone's on the same page and everyone has probably the same difficulties and everything, and we can all get in one place, away from the families, nothing against your family, away from the friends, away from the co-workers, away from the job, and just retreat and just detox. That is what I've been planning for a couple years, but we're finally gonna be doing it next year. Awesome, I got another thumbs up. You rock. I appreciate that. And I'm thinking about doing one in 6 months or so. I'm gonna do the one in February, obviously somewhere hot. So I'm looking at, tropical places, probably within the continental US, or maybe just the US in general, maybe not the continental. Maybe we could branch out to Puerto Rico or something, but it all depends on the venue itself. Um, Hello, Z Boy, welcome, good to see you. So yeah, like I said, oh, Lisa, you're tuned in? Awesome. Have you decided where it's going to be yet? No, I'm thinking about doing one in maybe 6 months in um, Michigan or Ohio or Pennsylvania, maybe even New York State, like the around the Great Lakes. Um, because I know some people are tuning in from Chicago, and I have at least one client in Chicago. But that would be because if it's summer, then maybe we could go like northern Michigan or something in the middle of nowhere in the forest, or definitely the one in February is going to be somewhere hot on the beach, or somewhere equally amazing. But I'm still shopping. It's got to be epic. It's got to be once in a lifetime kind of. I'm very picky about my environment, as you can tell from this video. And I've learned the hard way. It's not just about the people. Also, there's some feng shui and stuff goes into it. The mountains and the trees and the water there's definitely some truth to that for sure. Lisa, you're in Georgia. Ooh, Georgia. Okay. Oh, I think I've been hearing things about Georgia that there's like alkaline restaurants or something down there. That might be an option. That might be an option if you know of a really great retreat that I'm going to have to charge for it. So I'm trying to find somewhere that's not going to be so that's not gonna have to be like 5 grand for a week. Um, and a lot of resorts, if we're getting the resort and all the food, if we're juicing or cooking, that's it's gonna be pricey, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be priceless. But I am factoring in you, I you know, um, I want to, especially for the first few, I want to do a price, one that's, some people are not going to be able to afford it anyway, but at least I don't want it to be 5 grand. So it'll be less than 5 grand. That's all I know right now. But yeah, a lot of the places I've been looking at are expensive, even the ones that are just like a tree house. Um, Ooh, Tulum, Z-Boy said. Yeah, I've been researching Mexico a lot recently, and I don't know about the what testing situation right now, and I don't want to subject people, as in myself, to have to jump through unethical hoops to violate my basic human rights just to get on a transportation vehicle to go to somewhere. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to be going on next February. It's definitely open on the table, and there's some other places nearby Tulum that also look maybe even better from my, a little bit more secluded. But yeah, you're on the right track. Georgia might work if there's somewhere, if you have a connection somewhere, or if we can find a resort that's for sale that I can buy the whole resort, and then that would be ideal for me, but at this point, it's still up in the air, as you can tell by it's still, but the more I put it together, the more it comes together. I can picture it very clearly in my mind, so I know it will happen. And there's a deadline is next February. What I might do, depending on how big my channel gets by then, depending on how many clients I have by then, I might extend it and do 2 weeks and have a group for a week and then have another group for the next week, but have an option for the first group to do 2 weeks. I know most people can't get off work for very long, but and you all know that I would recommend to just quit your job, but that got me into an argument with someone in one of the last live video. I think that's what triggered them when I said to quit their job. I think that's when things started getting heated. But I know that's a lot harder than it's easy for me to say. And then don't quit your job unless you're extremely adventurous, or unless you have savings cushion so that you don't run out of money. But I like to live dangerously personally, but that's in some areas, not in health, not with my health. That's where I don't live dangerously. So yeah, I'm still looking for the right place. If I can find some like crusty, abandoned shack on the beach, I would just take it over and make it into Alkaline life. I've been planning this for years at this point. I'm just looking since I've already been in business for over 15 years, I'm picky about, I'm only going to do it if I really, if it's a no-brainer. If there's any question or red flag, then no way. So that's why I think it's just better to rent somewhere. However, it's so expensive that I'll have to figure it out. So if you know somewhere that has a special group rate. Also, actually, I wanted to ask you this live. Just ask everyone. I want to get the feel for who exactly is tuning in. And do you like camping? Or do you like brick and mortar? Like, you've got to have your real nice shower and you can't handle bugs or anything like that. I want to get the feel for if we did some kind of places I've been looking at have like cabins in the woods, and then there's optional camping. So one option is if I get one of those places and we fill up max with like, some of these places they would only allow like 8 or 10 people. And if a bunch more people want to come, we could potentially have them just camp in tents. But I don't know what you want. So I have what I want in mind, ideally, within like 5 years. But I'm also flexible, and I'm also thinking about doing really nice events that are like luxury resorts, and then also lower end, maybe camping. Maybe we can do one in the summer, one in the winter. One of them is going to have to cost something. I mean, you're going to have to save up, start saving now. Because, and I'm going to have to rent the entire place on faith that we can book it all and fill it up. I did find one place I had in mind. I found a cool place that has 100 acres. It's a giant farmhouse, but nice. It's not like a dilapidated farmhouse like the one I grew up in. Just kidding. It's a nice farmhouse, huge, and there's 100 and some acres. That would be pretty cool. And we would have the entire compound. Someone just said something. Let me see. A bunch of places that have cabins. Helen, Georgia. Another one called Indian Trail. Ooh, thank you. I'll have to screenshot that. Helen, Georgia. All right, we'll see. And are there alkaline restaurants down there? Is that real? Because I'll come down there and critique them and do a video. That sounds like fun. Can taste the other alkaline chef's foods and rip it to shreds. I can Gordon Ramsay all over it. You call this you call this an alkaline burger? Oh man, I'm in too good of a mood right now to really do a Gordon Ramsay, but I am definitely I could definitely very picky. So I'm thinking about going to the alkaline restaurants that I heard are in Chicago and doing videos there. Let him have it, Z-Boy said. I did a reaction video that I didn't publish where I did a reaction to some other alkaline video. And what do you think? Should I do more? Should I publish? I've done a couple reaction videos and I didn't publish them. What do you think about that? Would you like that kind of thing, or would you not really watch that? Because I see stuff that I would react to. Well, I react. Some people would say I overreact, but you could say that I'm dramatic. Yeah. So, Lisa said, from my understanding, there's only one truly alkaline place. Ooh, and the rest are just vegan. Okay, that's what I figured. That's amazing that there's even one alkaline place at all. I know I wouldn't want to make one because I've thought about it a million times, and every time I decided absolutely not. Food truck. I have so many ideas that would not be a good business idea. It would be a good place I would want to eat at, but that doesn't mean that I want to own it. So let someone else risk everything they own on it, and I'll go eat there. That's better. That's a better value for me. I'll have other businesses that make more sense to me and leave the restaurants up to until, I mean, maybe when I get a million subscribers, if I get a million subscribers, I would heavily consider making a restaurant, because that's another story. If somehow the YouTube algorithm lets me get that popular, because yeah, it's all up to them pretty much. I've got over 200 videos. There are plenty of people with less videos that are raking it in, but I chose not popular topics because that's what I think is important, and that's what I want to do with my time and effort. So yeah, when you go the road less traveled. Hello, Mike. Mike says, how are you? First time listening. I want to know your thoughts on exercises like Tai Bo. Good question. Um, well, I assume you're asking that because I mentioned I've been doing martial arts for pretty much my whole life. So I was doing wrestling when I was 5, and then I started martial arts when I was 8. I wasn't into wrestling. Ugh, that that was awkward. But anyway, um, Taibo, I would say it's not real martial arts, and but that's not necessarily bad. Um, some people would say that about Taekwondo, but I would say stretch before and after. And I would say most people don't stretch enough, especially Americans. I don't know where you're from, but Western people, they don't seem to stretch enough. I've lived in Asia, and it seems like it's stretching is more popular, and definitely. And obviously, yoga is from India, but not everyone in India does it. Um, so I would recommend yoga more than Taibo. But it's totally different. So it depends what you're. Oh, you did Shotokan karate. Cool. Okay, my drummer did Shotokan um, back in the day. Cool. Yeah, that's a cool one. Um, Shotokan is better than Taibo, isn't it? I would stick to that. But I like Tai Chi as far as health goes. Tai Chi and yoga. Well, yoga's not really martial arts, but kind of. I would call it sometimes. But Tai Chi is, you learn it really super slow, but it can be used in combat. So it's pretty cool. And it's really good for your joints, good for your shoulders, good for your knees. Really good. I did Tai Chi for maybe a year or so overseas, and oh yeah, it was great. If it was at the crack of dawn, and I almost got my certificate to teach, but I couldn't own a bar and then wake up at 8 a.m. the next morning. I wasn't Superman. So yeah, I would recommend Tai Chi just from my experience, but Shotokan's pretty cool, definitely. Can definitely respect that. All right, well, we've gone over an hour this time. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for the comments. Any other questions you have, I'll give you 30 seconds or a minute to finish typing them out. And I just have to lean back because I'm like hunching forward towards the camera. And yes. Okay. Oh, that's better. Okay, I can go all day now. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. The main content of the video is over, what I was originally wanting to talk about, so. I've got my, want to guess what kind of tea I have? Oh yeah. Power! Oh yeah. Mike says, I absolutely agree. My sensei made me unlearn everything I learned as far as technique. Thank you for answering. My pleasure. I love doing Q&As live. It's fun. It keeps me sharp, and it's social interaction at home from the comfort of the couch. And also, it helps me with the YouTube getting my channel monetized. So selfishly getting watch time. More watch time. If you don't know, YouTube won't monetize you now until you have 4,000 hours watch time in the last 12 months. I have over 2,000, so I'm over halfway there. I appreciate everyone watching. And eventually, I'm going to monetize the channel. And my plan is to do one of those videos where I show how much money I made on YouTube my first month of being monetized. Oh, I can't wait to do that video. Videos like that go viral easily, I think. But, and then what I'm planning to do is to give away my first month salary YouTube check. Not sure how much it's going to be. That might be a couple grand. It might be a couple cents. Not sure at all at this point. It really varies depending on, you know, the niche and everything like that. Lisa guessed sarsaparilla or blue. I think you meant vervain and you had an autocorrect. It is sarsaparilla. You guessed correctly. I'm predictable, aren't I? Yes, I'm predictable. Here's how you can tell. It turned the T-ball red, or, well, I'm colorblind. I don't know what color that is, but like, yeah, what color is that? Looks like iron. That's the iron in the sarsaparilla. And that's why I'm super powered, is from I've been drinking this nonstop. And when I drink this nonstop, my pH is 9. I told someone this. Someone was arguing with me on Facebook or something. I don't use Facebook anymore, really. And someone was arguing with me, "Nuh-uh, you would be dead if your pH was 9. It can't go over 7 or something." I was like, I don't know what to tell you. You want to come check it for me and make sure I'm not lying? It's the internet sometimes. It's just there are so many slicksters and scammers out there that now no one believes anything. It's a shame. And even when you tell someone the truth, now they don't believe it. And you know what? The CIA planned that and got their wish. They planned it well. That was done on purpose. And there are quotes that I've seen from people that said, the disinformation campaign we're running in the US will be over when every American believes the opposite of what's true. And there's a quote out there, and I butchered the quote, but there are people out there engineering others' reality. And the Matrix, I had this talk with someone the other day, but the way out of it is to know about it. The weapon is understanding. The way to fight back is by rejecting it. No one can, and I'm going on a little soapbox right now, stepping up onto it. Here comes my sermon. I feel it coming. No one has the authority over you or me to say what we can do and what we can't. No human being has the authority to make laws that govern us. Are there geese outside taxing the other geese for flying? That's jokeable, isn't it? Did you chuckle about that? It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Do the ducks and do the squirrels have to pay to eat something? Do they have to have a license to dig a hole? I mean, wake up! You're free. We're free. Uh-oh, this is dangerous. Oh, this is dangerous talk. This is the kind of stuff that gets censored nowadays. Oh no, I'm inciting people. No, I'm being totally peaceful, but you're free and I'm free. No, there's no piece of paper. It doesn't matter how many lawyers got together and had a lawyer circle jerk and came up with a piece of paper that says you have to do this or what. No, that's not real. That's not how reality works. They're mind effing you. That's not how nature works, where someone just enslaves someone else and gets them to consent to it. Oh, and this is a dangerous conversation. I don't know how deep I'm going to take it. I have books on the bookshelf. I have books about mind control, and it's basically compliance, how to get people to do something. That's what marketing is. They started studying this in World War II. The Nazis were dissecting people's brains, and that's how modern psychology started. They were doing studies on twins, unethical studies, torturing people and stuff. And that's how modern psychology, that's where all the BS that is in pop culture comes from. When I say I study psychology, I'm not on that side of it. I'm not on the corrupt side of it, the evil side of it, but that is basically what I've been warning about in my channel. And so I have to, it's funny because I have to, like, I'm on social media right now. Like, I'm in the system. Dare I compare myself to Neo? I wouldn't go that far. But for analogy's sake, I'm using the Matrix to warn people about it. Very interesting, isn't it? But the way to get out of it is just to know how the universe actually works, so that when people try to trick you, you just go, "What? You expect me to believe that? You think I'm an idiot?" That's my reaction to the stuff the government does, or the stuff that some organizations or these nonprofits that like to say how noble and philanthropic they are. I see through what they're really doing. You can't fool everyone. As Peter Tosh says, you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Right? So now we see the light. Stand up for our rights. Oh, you know that song, Get Up, Stand Up. Yep, exactly. They knew what was going on, definitely. And since then, and when was that song written? 30, 40 years ago? Have people woken up yet? The people on this channel have, or are in the process of, definitely. I think most people find me in the middle of their wake up or after, but I think some people might find me before. The internet is interesting, and I sometimes don't know who is watching, so I try to make the messages as generally useful as possible and not specific. But I like the Q&As because then I get specific questions from specific people, and it gets, focused. So that's why I'm always taking your feedback for more videos. I have a long list of video ideas already, so there's no shortage of video ideas. However, I always want more new ideas to, something that's on the trend also is good sometimes, even though most of the things I talk about are ancient and they don't really get old. They don't really go out of style or out of date. So, um, yeah, it's not always popular. Being healthy is not popular at all. Uh, However, there's one Alkaline restaurant in Georgia, and at least one in Chicago, which is two more than I've ever been to. So I will be going. I will be doing some vlogging for sure and checking those out. This year, yeah. I'll probably be going to Chicago. Maybe we can. Uh, Maybe we can make a video there. If you're in Chicago and watching, say hello, and maybe we can somehow arrange a group dinner or something crazy for my subscribers. That would be fun. That would be fun. There's not many places for us to congregate with acceptable things to eat, which is the whole purpose of my channel to begin with. If there were, I wouldn't be cooking, probably. I love creating new recipes, but I would rather order takeout just like everyone else. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not willing to risk my life for convenience anymore. Maybe in my 20s, but I learned my lesson. Did you learn your lesson the hard way like me? Well then, I'm going to finish my tea. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll keep streaming as long as there's interaction, but if the topic is done, then I'll tune out. So anyone who's watching, who's maybe just tuning in and missed the beginning of the video, I talked about show me your friends and I'll predict your future. It's easy. It's easy for me to do. I'm very accurate at predicting people's futures, but it's usually negative, so I usually don't. Because it also could possibly be a self-fulfilling prophecy if I tell them. However, I've predicted several things accurately, including the market crash that's going on. However, I'm usually really early, which sometimes is not useful. When you're expecting something and it never happens, and then you think that you were wrong, and then it happens. Oh, just really early. So you can predict, once you understand life, you can predict things pretty easily. And the more I understand about life and business, the easier it looks to make money, predict what people are going to do, predict what people are going to say. Sometimes life can be so predictable that it can get a little depressing for, people that like uncertainty. Different people have different objectives. Some people thrive on uncertainty. Some people thrive on certainty. Some people want to have total control over their environment. Some people like to have adventure and not know what's going to happen. I like both in different situations. I like sometimes adventure and sometimes control. I like to control what I'm eating, that's for sure. I like to know every ingredient that's in it, and especially now that I haven't eaten at a restaurant in 3 years and counting, and I don't miss it. However, I am curious to drive, go all the way. I might drive. I don't know. I just said drive. Georgia's a little far, but I might. I'm going to those Alkaline restaurants, but it's not like I'll be able to go there every night for dinner. I just think it'll be a really good video. And also I want to see if their cooking is better than mine. If it is, fantastic. I'm moving in. I'm moving in next door. But I doubt it, but I'm open to it. Um, that would be great. I mean, I would love to eat some. When you cook all the time, year after year for 3 years, that's why I am always making new recipes, because I have a lot of good recipes that I don't really make anymore. I used to make pizza a lot. Oh man, my pizza is awesome. I used to make, I used to make a lot of different things that I made it too many times, and I'm just sick of doing it myself. So I think my passion is for inventing the recipe, but not necessarily for cooking itself. I like filming better. I like filming and doing the videos aspect of it. So as soon as I can get some helpers, we're going to expand. A few people have volunteered already to help cook. So at some day in the future, we're going to have a massive Alkaline feast. Oh man, an Alkaline buffet. That's what I dream about. What if I could just eat everything I've ever made all on one giant buffet and just go down, and we can all dream, can't we? That's what my dreams are like. All right, I'm going to cut it short. Well, I'm not going to cut it short. It's been going for over an hour. I've got 3 minutes left until 90 minutes, so I'll do 3 more minutes in case someone has a question they're dying to ask. Otherwise, I'll do it just for the watch time. Would you like more stretching videos? Would you like meditation videos? There's a lot of stuff I could make videos on. One of my clients suggested today, he said he didn't know I was investing, and I do here and there, I do technical analysis on, the other day I did Bitcoin, and what did I do? Silver. So I recommended that he study Elliott waves. And that's what most people have no idea that it's even a thing. But you can predict, talking about predictions again, you can predict the market. Well, if it was a free market, which it isn't, if it was a free market, it's psychology, and you can look at the chart and predict what's going to happen next. That's what the Elliott waves are. It looks like just a graph, but really it's representing psychology. Because in the market, you either buy or you sell. But these are human beings in a free market. Again, I keep having to repeat in a free market, because the market's been manipulated, and there are bots, and there are algorithms and stuff, computers trading. So it's not all just people like you and me trading our money like it was before. That's psychology. And the Elliott waves measure that psychology, because in nature, a lot of things have Elliott waves, not just the stock market. Like, you know how, have you ever seen any documentaries on like sacred geometry? That's what it's kind of like. It's very interesting if you're nerdy like I am, or if you're fascinated with learning things like I am. I like to find out something that I didn't know. Whereas, some people have cognitive dissonance when they find out something they didn't know or that goes against their beliefs, they get upset. But I like to find out something I didn't know. If it's real, if I can prove it and get a result, then awesome. Score. Because this is the information age and it's becoming more and more apparent. I've been saying this for over 10 years now. The information age and the industrial age is over and jobs are over. And people didn't listen to me then, and maybe I've been recommending doing home-based businesses for over 10 years, and people gave me so much crap for that. You have no idea how much hate I got for talking about recommending start home-based business, and that was back before I was alkaline and getting hate for people who say garlic is alkaline. Oh man, do you want to see reaction videos where I react to stuff like that? Because I watched one and they put, what did they put? They put several non-acceptable ingredients in there. And I was like, oh, uh-oh. But then I didn't publish it because I didn't want to be too hard on them. Because in some of my older videos, I use ingredients that I'm not using right now. So, yeah, I'm not perfect either. So I don't want to be too critical of other people. And then when there's snow on, what is the Confucius saying? If there's or the saying from the Bible, don't point out the twig in your neighbor's eye when there's a log in your own, something like that. Which basically means focus on yourself, don't worry about other people and telling people how to be a better person, just be a better person yourself and forget and forgive everyone else. They're off the hook. They're not going to do it anyway. Spoiler alert. They're going to let you down. I already know. But when you work on yourself, then you win because you're always there. So you're your best investment. And we'll bring it back to the original thing and then I'll end it. The original thing was show me your friends, I'll show you your future, or the people that you spend the most time with are influencing you, and not just influencing you, but that's an understatement, I think, because most people, oh yeah, they're influencing me, okay, but then they don't understand how the emphasis is, you don't understand, maybe you do, how influenced your subconscious mind can be, how easy to influence your subconscious mind is. And I've got several books over on the bookshelf over here about the subconscious mind. And we're all susceptible to influence. Our subconscious mind is sometimes wide open for influence from undesirable sources. So that's why you should stop watching TV. Stop reading the newspaper. People are gonna, oh, well, how are you gonna know what's going on? Are you kidding me? You're not gonna know what's going on from the newspaper? That shows a lot of ignorance there if people think that the newspaper is actually giving information. Since when have you seen anything I talk about on any of my videos in the newspaper? Never. They're a business. Their business is fear. And they're not interested in your well-being. They're interested in selling advertising. So, unfortunately, the news is not really what's going on. That's just someone's company. It's entertainment. And it's not that entertaining to me, so I don't watch it. And in fact, it's purposefully triggering people who have been traumatized. And they keep bringing it up. The dumb newspaper in the corrupt, crappy place that I grew up. I was visiting once and I walked downstairs. I was visiting and walked downstairs and saw the newspaper. And the freaking title on the... I could see it from across the room. I'm not even going to say it out loud because it's going to trigger someone. It's a trigger. It's a seriously violent, insanely violent, ridiculously, absurdly violent title. The headline of the entire newspaper. And that's the first thing I saw in the morning from across the room. That's negatively influencing the entire rest of someone's day. Every single person subscribed to that paper was negatively influenced by that title. And I mean, I'm sure they're doing that every day to people. That is criminal to me. If they really understand psychology, and if the people who made the rules and laws really understood well-being and psychology, they would not allow that kind of garbage and call it news or let it be published, broadcast across the whole nation. That's a shame. And I mean, I've been studying psychology for over 15 years, so I get it, the brainwashing. I see behind the curtain, but I don't think many other people are getting this message, and it's hard for me to simplify it enough. I'm simplifying it as simple as I can, but there are just so many things I learned throughout the years. There are a couple books about compliance. There's one called Influence, the Power of Persuasion. That's a famous one. And they talk about how religious groups get people to comply. They talked about how the Chinese army got people to comply in the POW camps and stuff like that, about how they use psychology to mind F people, is what I call it. Well, I usually don't say F, but if you really knew how your subconscious mind worked, you would really guard it. Keep the negative people away. No news, no newspaper. I mean, that sounds fanatical, and that sounds like, oh, what are you going to do, hide in a cave or something? No, there are good people out there. You'll have time to meet them once you ditch the situation that's bad or could be better. But your situation is just not going to magically change either. That's the point I keep repeating. It's only going to change when you do it. And if you think you did if you think that you did something and you didn't get the result, no, you didn't do it then. The universe does not lie, and science does not lie. You can't trick physics. You can't trick God. You can't pull a fast one on God or the universe. It works a certain way, and that's the way it works. It's futile. It's a waste of time to push against it the certain things that are set. Now, it's not futile to, just because you're meeting adversity, that doesn't mean you should quit. I'm saying like physical laws of the universe. So as long as it's possible within the laws of physics, then it's possible for you to achieve. And the way to get there is by either recruiting the right people, putting yourself in the way of the right people. I know this sounded very vague to me a few years ago. My light ran out, so it's now dark. It's darkening. I need a better LED light. So you could either recruit them in business, or you could put your own marketing out there if you're trying to attract good clients. You could do this with a relationship, you know, a romantic relationship. You could, but how do you attract the right kind of people? That might be the question, the next question for someone to ask. And then I'm going to end it after this. I know I keep signing off. And another thing. To attract someone, either romantically or for business, is similar tactic, is to become. And I've heard this: be, do, have. First, you have to become. Become the kind of person that is like, become the kind of person that the lawyers want to work with. Become the kind of person that the banker wants to lend money to. Become the kind of person that the woman you're interested in would be attracted to. Become the kind of person that the friends you want, the good friends that you want, would be attracted to. Become the kind of person that the honest business partners that you want will become attracted to. You see what I'm saying? And that's the hard work that you have to do on yourself before anything will happen in your life. And, you know, I have a life transformation program, if you didn't know. That's the things I teach, the things I encourage people to do, is to, I never tell them to blame blame your friends and family for your bad situation. No, I always, they know they have to do it themselves, and I provide as much support as possible. You know, sometimes you need to hire a good person. Sometimes you need to recruit a good person. Sometimes, you know, it's going to depend, but good people are out there, even if they are few and far between. They do exist, and I want to give you hope if you've been dealing with narcissists and think that the world is effed and are wanting to give up. Just hear this, that not everyone is a narcissist, thank God. There are good people out there, and a lot of them are on this channel, and birds of a feather flock together. So there's a lot of cliches here in this particular video. Birds of a feather flock together. And there are some great people on this channel, and also some of my clients now are starting out as my client and were potentially, I'm helping them in business or partnering in business. So good things can happen once you get into the groove. You might meet, who knows where exactly you're going to meet your next awesome client, or your next awesome customer, or your next awesome friend, or, you know, your family. You can't replace your family. They're always your family. Just forgive them. And it doesn't mean you can love them, doesn't mean you have to spend all your time with them. You can still love someone and just see them on the holidays. You don't have to be just forever stuck spending time with people just because you did it yesterday. You can do whatever you want. So you don't just have to be stuck with your family and friends that you had before. And oh, I'm getting texts and they're interrupting me, so sorry about that. You don't have to just continue what you were doing before. And if you do need help revamping your habits, I have a 12-week program, and the link for free consultations in the bottom of the description. So it's possible to do on your own. It's extremely, extremely difficult. And the more support you can get, the better, which is kind of the point of this whole video in a way. The flip side of the negative side was the bad people, but the flip side is that there's great people that can help you heal, that can help you with your business. I mean, you can only really be super talented at maybe one thing if you're lucky. If you're really lucky, more than one thing. And partnering with someone else, maybe your weaknesses are their strengths. And together, wow, you can achieve things you would have never been able to do just by yourself. I've had those experiences in my life and in my business where the right person, boom, easily gets you to a quantum leap. Because maybe they've been working on your weakness, maybe they've been working on it for 20 years, and for them, it's not even difficult at all. So, are you starting to understand what I'm talking about? Does this make sense? I hope it does. All right, it's been fun. I signed off like 10 times. This is the last one. I'm going to sign off this time, and I'm going to finish my tea, and I've got some work to do before it gets too late. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate the watch time. I appreciate all the thumbs up from everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to hit the bell icon because I've been going live often, and it'll notify you right when I go live. That way you can ask questions live, which is a lot of fun because we can reach worldwide. We have people all over the world. The other day there was someone in Barbados, Russia, some people in the Philippines watching sometimes, people in the UK. I'm curious to know where everyone is from. I would love to meet in real life, and we will be able to in the future. I'll let you know how that plan is going. I'll definitely make an announcement and show you what place that I found. Or maybe I'll have a couple places and I'll do a video and have you choose between a tiebreaker or something if it comes to that. Alrighty, well, I'm looking forward to that. We've got an exciting year ahead of us. Remember, if you don't watch the news and don't watch TV, then everything is going great. Would you even know anything bad is going on? No, you wouldn't. Probably not. And if you did, it'd be in your own front yard and you would have to deal with it, which is going to be the case anyway. So, do you need to know about every violent offense in another state or country that ever happens? No, it's not affecting us. So we need to tune out and tune in. Tune into something like this where we're actually trying to improve our situation. And that being said, have an amazing day on purpose. This is my last sign off. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace.